Nelson Mandela, commonly referred to by South Africans as Madiba, rose to prominence in the ANC's 1952 defiance campaign. Working as a lawyer, he was repeatedly arrested for seditious activities. Together with other ANC leaders, he was prosecuted for treason in a trial that took place between 1956 and 1961, but was not found guilty. Mandela co-founded the militant youth wing of the ANC known as Mkhonto weSizwe, meaning the spear of the nation, in 1961, although he was initially committed to non-violent tactics. Mandela abandoned his non-violent approach to militant approach following the killing of 69 blacks at a peaceful protest against pass laws in Sharpeville in 1960. Ahmed Kathrada was Mandela's prison mate, who later became a political advisor in Mandela's presidency.
Under the discipline of the ANC, the oath had to be taken. Every volunteer had to take an oath to abide by the policy. And that is, when you plant bombs, you don't hurt human beings.
Mandela was arrested in 1962 and convicted of sabotage and conspiracy to overthrow the government. He was sentenced to life imprisonment in the Rivonia trial.
For the first time, we were all kept together in one cell. But before that, it was single cells. And they told us that they're putting us in one cell because we've got food from home. You must finish the food because from tomorrow you'll be eating jail food.
Mandela served 27 years in prison, first in Robben Island and later in Pollsmoor Prison and Vasta Prison.
I had a garden which I looked after. And when the tomatoes were ready, the warders would be very friendly and come and get some tomatoes from the garden.
Now, while in prison, Mandela was very good at record keeping. His letters, his diaries, his photographs are kept at a special archive at the Nelson Mandela Foundation. In fact, he began writing his autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom, while he was in prison.
Well, at first, we were allowed to write and receive letters once in 6 months. And but of course, we fought against that for quite some time. And the methods we used, they really could not tolerate. And so we eventually won the battle.
The international community piled up pressure on the apartheid regime to release Mandela.
They called Madiba, the authorities. They said, we are prepared to exempt you. Exempt you, will give you, the clothes that other people have got, will give you the same food or even better food, exemption from work. He refused. After 3 years, Madiba was separated from us, alone. So the 4 of us stayed alone. When Madiba was separated from us, that is when he took the first step towards talking to the enemy.
And Madiba was released in 1990.
Order. I wish to put it plainly that the government has taken a firm decision to release Mr. Mandela unconditionally. I am serious about bringing this matter to finality without delay. The government will take a decision soon on the date of his release.
It was the most extraordinary time of our lives.
Mandela.
And Mandela was everything and more than we could ever have expected. You know, everybody anticipated that he could never live up to our
expectations. Where were you at that time? How did you
I was living in Cape Town. I was waiting on the Grand Parade, which is where he first appeared after his release from Victor Verster prison. And we waited and waited and waited the whole day. There were delays in him getting there to address us. And it was very tense because the police were shooting rubber bullets from behind to try and control the crowd, and you weren't sure whether you were safe, but none of us were moving. We wanted to see Madiba.
The history of that long walk to freedom is preserved at the Apartheid Museum. After his release, Mandela embarked on negotiations with President F.W. de Klerk to abolish apartheid. He became the first black president during the 1994 multiracial elections, with F.W. de Klerk and Thabo Mbeki as his two deputies. Professor Ali Manzuri described Mandela as one of the great moral and political leaders of, quote, our time. He further described Mandela as an international hero whose resilience and dedication to the fight against racial oppression in South Africa won him the presidency and later the Nobel Peace Prize.
Brave and uncompromising. Even after he's released, he was put under a lot of pressure by the West to make other concessions, which he refused to do. And those are plus signs.
Mandela served as president for only one term between 1994 and 1999, and part of his legacy is humility and inability to be power-hungry. Toko Mavuso worked with Mandela as his secretary at the Nelson Mandela Foundation.
When you have problems, I mean, it's an easy person that you can go to and say that I have this problem. He will feel for you as a father, you know. You don't take him like he's your leader and, you know, take the position that he was a state president and then you fear. He's just a humble person, but strictness, it's there.
Never and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa.
And that's Mandela's legacy. Alex Chamwada for Citizen TV.